back. Welcome back to the road trip. Kingdom builders, road trippers, right? Akim and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, everybody, shalom, in-laws, shalom, peace and blessings. Welcome back, everybody in the house, man. Peace and blessings to you, your homes, your dwelling places, where you stay at, your children, right? Your loved ones, your friends, and of course your pets, the little fur babies, man. Of course, man, we love them all. All right, welcome back to the road trip. All right, all praises to the Most High. We're all healthy. We're doing well, right? We're ready to edify that ruach and get back connected with the Most High in each and every single way and each and every single day. Hallelujah. Amen. All praises to the Most High, dipping in. All right. All praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, right? All praises to the Father, man, the overseer, Yahweh. Yes, Yahweh the Father. Glory to Yahweh Shai, right? The King, the High Priest. Order of Melchizedek, that's right. The first fruit, best example, our brother, right? The equalizer. Honors to the Ruach, right? Wisdom. Ruach HaKodesh, wisdom, the comforter, right? The dove. And my love and my respect to you, kingdom builders and road trippers. Right, I love y'all, each and every single one of you. With all formalities and pleasantries out of the way, let's go ahead and read this little short chapter right here. 3 is not extremely short. It's a little bit longer than 2 was. But we're going to go ahead and read this and then add the notes on the end of it. This one has... This chapter has 9 sections, and then it's got some points afterwards, 6 points. 9 sections, 6 points. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read that, and then get ready to start this Shabbat Eve tomorrow. All right. So with no further ado, if you have these scrolls available to you, whether in hard copy or you have them online, right, and you want to scroll along with that blue screen, these are the complete works of Flavius Josephus. This is the Jewish Antiquities, the Antiquities of the Yahudim, chapter 3, concerning the flood and after what manner Noah was saved in an ark with his family and afterwards dwelt in the plain of Shinar, right? Shinar being that plain outside of Babylon, established by Nebuchadnezzar, right? So no further ado. Chapter 3. Let's begin, family. All right, Mishpachah. Let's go. Chapter 3, Section 1, and it reads, Now this posterity of Seth continued to esteem Yahweh as the Most High of the universe, and to have an entire regard to virtue. For 7 generations, but in process of time, they were perverted and forsook the practices of their forefathers, and did neither pay those honors to Yahweh which were appointed to them, nor had they any concern to do justice towards men. But for what degree of zeal they had formerly shown for virtue, they now showed by their actions a double degree of wickedness, whereby they made Yahweh to be their enemy. For many angels of Yahweh coupled with women, and begat sons, and proved unjust, and despisers of all that was good, on account of their confidence they had in their own strength. For the tradition is that these men did what resembled the acts of those whom the Grecians, right, called giants, right? The Yahudim, we call giants too, right? The Nephilim, right, and the Raphaim. But Noah was very uneasy at what they did, and being displeased at their conduct, persuaded them to change their dispositions and their acts for the better. But seeing they did not yield to him, but were slaves to their wicked pleasures, he was afraid they would kill him, together with his wife and children and those they had married. So he departed out of that land. That was the end of section 1. Let's continue. All right, I like this one. All right, let's go. Section 2, and it reads, Now Yahweh loved this man for his righteousness, yet not only condemned those other men for their wickedness, but determined to destroy the whole race of mankind and to make another race that should be pure from wickedness, and cutting short their lives and making their years not so many as the formerly lived, but 120 only, right? He turned the dry land into sea, and thus were all these men destroyed, but Noah alone was saved, for Yahweh suggested to him the following contrivance and way of escape, that he should make an ark of 4 stories high, 300 cubits long, 50 cubits broad, and 30 cubits high. According he entered into the ark, and his wife and sons and their wives, and put into not only other provisions to support their wants there, but also sent it in with the rest all sorts of living creatures, the male and his female, for the preservation of their kind, and others of them by sevens. Salake, for the little hiccup there, right? Now, this ark had firm walls and a roof, and was braced with cross beams, so that it could not be in any way drowned or capsized by the violence of the waters. Right? And thus was Noah with his family preserved. Now, he was the 10th from Adam, as being the son of Lamech, whose father was Methuselah. He was the son of Enoch, the son of Jared, and Jared was the son of Mahalaleel, who with many of his sisters were the children of Canaan, the son of Enosh. Now Enosh was the son of Seth, the son of Adam. This calamity, that's Salake. That's the end of section 2. Oh boy, getting too zealous. Let me slow down. Section 3. This calamity happened in the 600th year of Noah's government age, in the 2nd month, called by the Macedonians Dies, but by the Hebrews Marshesavan. For so, it almost looks like March, but Marshesavan, for so did they order their year in Mizraim. But Moshe appointed that Nisan, which is the name the same with Xanthicus, should be the 1st month for their festivals, because he brought them out of Mizraim in that month, so that this month began the year as to all the solemnities they observed to the honor of Yahweh, although he preserved the original order of the months as to selling and buying and ordinary affairs. Now he says that this flood began on the 17th day of the before mentioned month, and this was 1656 years from Adam, the first man, and the time is written down in the sacred books. Those who then lived, having noted down with great accuracy both the births and the deaths of illustrious men. For indeed Seth was, that's the end of section 3. Oh my goodness. Section 4. For indeed Seth was born when Adam was in his 213th year, who lived 930 years. Seth begat Enosh in his 205th year, who when he had lived 912 years delivered the government to Canaan his son, whom he had in his 119th year. He lived 905 years. Canaan, when he had lived 910 years, had his son Mahalaleel, who was born in his 170th year. This Mahalaleel, having lived 895 years, died, leaving his son Jared, whom he begat when he was in his 165th year. He lived 962 years, and then his son Enoch succeeded him, who was born when his father was 162 years old. Now he, when he had lived 365 years, departed and went to Yahweh. Thus it is that they had not written down his death. Now Methuselah the son of Enoch, who was born to him when he was 165 years old, had Lamech, for his son when he was 187 years of age, to whom he delivered the government when he had retained it 969 years. Now Lamech, when he had governed 777 years, appointed Noah, his son, to be ruler of the people, who was born to Lamech when he was 182 years old, and retained the government 950 years. These years collected together make up the sum that was set down. But let no one inquire into the deaths of these men, for they extended their lives along together with their children and grandchildren, but let them have regard to their births only. That's the end of section 4. All right, section 5. When Yahweh gave the signal, and it began to rain, the water poured down 40 entire days until it became 15 cubits higher than the earth, which was the reason why there was no greater number preserved, since they had no place to fly to. When the rain ceased, and water did but just begin to abate after 150 days, that is, on the 17th day of the 7th month, it then ceased to subside for a little while. After this, the ark rested on the top of a certain mountain in Armenia, which when Noah understood, he opened it. And seeing a small piece of land about it, he continued quiet and conceived some cheerful hopes of deliverance. But a few days afterward, when the water was decreased to a greater degree, he sent out a raven as desirous to learn whether any other part of the earth were left dry by the water, and whether he might go out of the ark with safety. But the raven, finding all the land still overflowed, returned to Noah again. And after 7 days he sent out a dove to know the state of the ground, which came back to him covered with mud and bringing an olive branch. Hereby Noah learned that the earth was become clear of the flood. So after he had stayed 7 more days, he sent the living creatures out of the ark, and both he and his family went out. And he also sacrificed to Yahweh and feasted with his companions. However, the Armenians called this place Apobatarian, the place of descent. For the ark being saved in that place, its remains are shown there by the inhabitants to this day. And it is. All right. That's the end of section 5. Hallelujah. Selah. Section 6. Now all the writers of barbarian histories make mention of the flood, and of this ark, among whom the Barius, the Chaldean, who is Barosus, the Chaldean. I've never heard that name before. Salake. Let's learn this together. For when he is describing the circumstances of the flood, he goes on thus. It is said, there is still some part of this ship in Armenia at the moment of the Gordinians, and that some people carry off pieces of the bitumen, which they take away and use chiefly as amulets for the averting of mischiefs. Hieronymus the Egyptian also, who wrote the Phoenician Antiquities, and Manassas, and a great many more, make mention of the same. Nicolaus of Damascus, in his 96th book, has a particular narration about them, where he speaks thus. There is a great mountain in Armenia over Minyas called Baris, upon which is reported that many who fled at the time of the deluge were saved, and that one who was carried in an ark came on shore upon the top of it, and that the remains of the timber were a great while preserved. See, some were saved. This might be the man about whom Moshe, the lawgiver of the Yahudim, wrote. All right, that's the end of section 6. But as you can read, there was many that actually lived through the deluge. Not everybody on earth died. So when when Noah walked out of that ark, there were already some people living. Listen, I'll read it again. This right here in section 6, right here, this little portion. There's a great mountain in Armenia over Minyas called Baris, upon which it is reported that many who fled at the time of the deluge were saved, and that one who was carried in an ark came on shore upon the top of it. See? They reported that someone, parked their boat on top of the ark where they were already there. That's in a, not section, but section 6. Yeah, section 6. Salaki. You got to get the full understanding, I guess, right? Section 7, and it reads, "But as for Noah, he was afraid, since Yahweh had determined to destroy mankind, fearing he should drown the earth every year. So of offered burnt offerings, and begged Yahweh that nature might hereafter go on its firmer orderly course, and that he would not bring on so great a judgment any more, by which the whole race of creatures might be in danger of destruction, but that having now punished the wicked, he would of his goodness spare the remainder, and such as he had as yet judged fit to be delivered from so severe a calamity. For that otherwise these last must be most miserable than the first, and that they must be condemned to a worse condition than the others, unless they be permitted to escape entirely. That is, if they be reserved for another deluge, while they must be afflicted with the terror and sight of the first deluge, and must also be destroyed by a second. He also entreated Yahweh to accept his sacrifice, and to grant that the earth might never again undergo the like effects of his wrath, that men might be permitted to go on cheerfully and cultivating the same, to build cities and to live happily in them, and that they might not be deprived of any of those good things which they enjoyed before the flood, but might live to the like length of days, the old age, which the ancient people had arrived at before." That's the end of section 7. But that's not going to happen. See what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, what did he just say in section 7? He just said that the intention of Yahweh after that first flood was that he was going to flood the year. He's going to flood the earth every single year and purge out all the wicked people. Anyone at the end of that year he didn't like was going to get flooded out. But Noah went and he pleaded with Yahweh. That's when we got the covenant rainbow, because he was like, please don't do what you did again, you know? And so, man, he even asked him to let men live out the full length of days, but it was only limited to 120 after this point, correct? Absolutely. Let's continue. Section 8, and it reads, "When Noah had made these supplications, Yahweh, who loved the man for his righteousness, granted entire success to his prayers, and said that it was not he who brought the destruction on a polluted world, but that they underwent that vengeance on account of their own wickedness, and that he had not brought men into the world if he had himself determined to destroy them. It being the instance of greater wisdom, not to have granted them life at all. Then after it was granted to procure their destruction, but their injuries, he said, they offered to my holiness, or kodeshness of virtue, force me to bring that punishment upon them. But I will leave off for the time to come to require such punishments, the effects of so great wrath, for the future wicked actions, and especially on account of your prayers. But if I shall at this time send tempest of rain in an extraordinary manner, to be not frightened at the size of the showers, for the water shall no more overspread the earth. However, I require you to abstain from shedding the blood of men, and to keep yourselves pure from murder, and to punish those who commit any such thing. I permit you to make use of all other living creatures at your pleasure, and as your appetites lead you. For I have made you lords, right, add-ons of them all, both of those that walk on the land, and those that swim in the waters, and those that fly in the regions of the air on high, accepting their blood, for therein is the life. But I will give you a sign that I have left off my anger by my bow, whereby is meant the rainbow, for they determined that the rainbow was the bow of Yahweh. And when Yahweh had said and promised us, he went away." That's the end of section 8. All right, we're almost done. Bear with me. We got one more section, y'all, and some notes. We're going to read this all, though. We're going to get it all. Section 9 reads, "Now when Noah had lived 350 years after the flood, and that all that time happily, he died, having lived the number of 950 years, but let no one, upon comparing the lives of the ancient with our lives, with a few years which we now live, think that what we have said of them is false, or make the shortness of our lives at present an argument that neither did they attain to so long a duration of life. For those ancients were beloved by Yahweh, and lately made by Yahweh himself, and because their food was then fitter for that prolongation of life, might well life so great a number of years, and besides Yahweh afforded them a longer life on account of their virtue and the good use they made of it. And in astronomical and geometrical discoveries which would not have afforded the time of foretelling the periods of the stars, unless they had lived 600 years, for the great year is completed in that interval. See what I'm saying? So they had to live long, because we would have never known about the rotations of the sky and the not the world, but we're talking about like the what do you call them? The constellations and everything like that, right? You had to live a long life to be able to note these things, right? So here we go. Let's continue. Now I have for a witness to what I have said all those that have written antiquities, both among the Greeks and barbarians. For even Manetho, who wrote the Egyptian history, and Berosus, who collected the Chaldean monuments, and Mokas, and Hestiasus, and besides these, Hieronymus, the Egyptian. And those who compose the Phoenician history agree to what here I say. Hesiod also, and Hecataeus, Helenacus, and Acusilius, and besides these, Ephorus and Nicholas, relate that the ancient lived 1,000 years. But as to the matters, let everyone look upon them as he thinks fit. That's the end of section 9 and the end of chapter 3. We're going to read a couple of these notes real quick and just see if it wants to like add a little bit more to the reading. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. Let's see what it's got in there. All right, let's check it out. Let's read it all. Here are the notes, and they read: Part 1. This notion that the fallen angels were in some sense the fathers of the old giants was the constant opinion of antiquity. Note 2. Josephus here supposes that the life of these giants, for of them only do I understand him, was now reduced to 120 years, which is confirmed by the fragment of Enoch, section 10, in Athuent, part 1, page 268. For as the rest of mankind, Josephus himself confesses their lives were much longer than 120 years, for many generations after the flood, as we shall see presently. And he says they were gradually shortened until the days of Moshe, and then fixed for some time at 120, right? 6.5. Nor indeed need we suppose that neither or either Enoch or Josephus meant to interpret these 120 years for the life of men before the flood to be different from the 120 years of Yahweh's patience. That's right. Perhaps while the ark was preparing, until the deluge, while I take to be the meaning of Yahweh when he threatened this wicked world, that if they so long continued impotent, their days should be no more than 120 years. So what I got from that is, like, in that preparation, remember he told Noah while he was building that ark to warn the people, you have 120 years to get yourselves prepared spiritually. Get yourselves right so you can avoid this death during this deluge. It took them 120 years. They still couldn't do it. It's kind of ironic that man's life was limited to 120 years after that that circumstance right there. All right, let's continue. Point number three. All right, just for like a measurement reference, a cubit is about 21 English inches. All right. Point 4. Josephus here truly determines that the year of the flood began about the autumnal equinox. As to what day of the month the flood began, our Hebrew and Samaritan, and perhaps Josephus's own copy, more rightly placed it on the 17th day instead of the 27th, as here, for Josephus agrees with them as to the distance of 150 days to the 17th day of the seventh month, as Genesis 7 and 24 with 8 and 3 suggests. Okay, that's in a point 4. All right. Point 5. Josephus here takes notice that these ancient genealogies were first set down by those that then lived, and from them were transmitted down to posterity, which I suppose to be the true account of that matter. For there is no reason to imagine that men were not taught to read and write soon after they were taught to speak, and perhaps all by the Messiah himself, who under the Father was the creator or governor of mankind, and who frequently in those early days, appeared to them. Point number 6. This Apobatarian, or place of descent, is the proper rendering of the Armenian name of this very city. It is called the Ptolemy Naxuana, and by Moshe Koreneses and Armenian history et Shiuan, but at this place itself, Nakedeshayon, which signifies the first place of descent, and is a lasting monument of the preservation of Noah in the ark upon the top of that mountain, at whose foot it was built, as the first city or town after the flood. See Antiquities 20.2.3. And Moshe Koreneas, right, who also says elsewhere that another town was related by tradition to have been called Seron, or the place of dispersion, right? So there was a city called Seron, the place of dispersion, on account of the dispersion of Xisuthruses, or Noah's sons. From there was first made. Whether any remains of this ark be still preserved, as the people of the country suppose, I cannot certainly tell. Mons Tournefort had not very long since a mind to see the place himself, but met with two great dangers and difficulties to venture through them. That's the end of chapter 3 and its notes, okay? On the next one, chapter 4 is going to be concerning the Tower of Babylon and the confusion of tongues, right? Babel. So that's it right there. This one was a little bit longer than the other ones, and it's going to be longer than 4. 4 is going to be shorter than this, but thanks for riding along with me, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers, Akeem and Akateem. I appreciate and I love each and every single one of you. All praises to the Most High, right? Every time we get a chance to read and come back together again. But please be safe out there in the meantime while we, depart for a little while. But we're coming up on Shabbat Eve tomorrow, and it's going to be good. Try to get a lot of these scriptures in, some more chapters read. So please be safe as you travel up and down the roads to and fro, as you go to your prospective places, right? Keep that in mind. And pray constantly, all right? Always be in meditation with the Father. All right? Can't wait to see you all again. And you already know the drill, right? And it's always all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And I love y'all. I'll see you all real soon. All right, peace. Yep.